Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about some assets. Specifically, we're going to spotlight Hedera because it's been a very long time since I've actually did an update on Hedera. But let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first off, we're going to be talking about a little bit of the market. So first off, I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody is having a great Friday. We are marching into the weekend. So of course, I'm not going to be taking a lot of positions right now. I'm going to be waiting until Monday to take any more positions. I have been averaging in. I've bought some assets. Hbar, it was a pretty good deal at about like 7 to like 8 cents. We've seen I think it was like 7.5 cents is the low. A lot of people are questioning, hey, is the bottom in? Or no, we are going much lower. We are in a bear market. Things are over. We're done. It's going to be, a hibernation period now until we do go up. But in my opinion, hey, if you believe that, that's totally fine. Everyone has their own convictions. To me, I don't believe that we've topped. And honestly, I don't believe that, we are in a bear market. I think that we are in a lengthening cycle where we are most likely going to see our wave 5 on Bitcoin. We haven't seen a wave 5 on Bitcoin. We haven't hit peak euphoria, at least in my opinion. Of course, nobody needs to follow me. I do not offer financial advice on this channel. I'm not telling you guys to buy this, buy that. I'm giving you guys insights on these projects and why I foresee them succeeding in the long term. Hedera, I haven't talked to you guys about Hbar for a fairly long time. And, yeah, we came down to about like 9 cents. It does hurt because I am down on a lot of my positions, specifically the positions that I've taken back in 2021. During the summer lows, I bought heavily on Hbar. In fact, I think it was like roughly 13 cents. I know CoinMarketCap is very, inaccurate in terms of the pricing, but I know that I bought like around like the 14-cent zone. I went pretty heavy around that point because, hey, that was the bottom at that time, or at least it was like around the bottom. But was that insignificant profit? Yeah, 100%. But I was expecting us to go on a nice run, but we did not get that wave 5 in 2021 like I was expecting, because I believe that we were basically following the 4-year cycle at that point. But now that has all changed because we did not get that wave 5, and it wasn't in that 4-year time period. So I'm expecting us to get that wave 5. I'm loading up, but hey, if we never get that wave 5, then yeah, it's going to hurt pretty bad for me. But that's the price that you pay. I'm, expecting this to be a long-term investment anyways. And honestly, averaging in does not hurt me at all. I'm bringing down my average price that I did, average up to around this time, because you got to remember that I was also buying back here in January between like 3 to 5 cents, and I was buying pretty heavy back there. And, those buys were incredible profit points. I did not take profit on those, buys because I'm expecting a lot more upside for Hbar on the long term. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things happening around Hbar. Let's talk about Hbar's, main, use case on the Hedera network, because I think a lot of people are, concerned or at least confused on how Hbar actually works. So similar to other assets and other networks within this space, Hbar does provide a lot of value to the Hedera ecosystem. It is the network fuel, and it is also the network protection. I've talked about this multiple times. This is actually how the value of Hbar is derived. Almost everything on Hedera, or I should say pretty much everything on Hedera, runs off of Hbar as the fuel source. So whenever there's a use case like the Atma.io thing that got released from Avery Dennison, Hbar will 100% be involved, and it will derive value from that use case. And also, just so that you guys know, when we talk about Hedera, there's a lot of things to still come in terms of those use case projects. I'm still expecting, I've been waiting for a lot of these case studies specifically in this space for Hedera, and a lot of the GC members to actually release projects that they are working on. We've been seeing a few, and I look forward to seeing a lot more of those because there's still a little bit of confusion behind some of the GC members and what they are actually working on with Hedera, and that's why I do appreciate the Avery Dennison announcement, which we're going to be talking about. But first off, let's talk about this. So as everyone is panicking and as everyone is scared to buy the dip, thinking that everything is going to go much lower, we have been seeing institutional investors dipping their toes in. We've also been seeing a lot of whales, really, I would say, accumulating Bitcoin at some high figures. I've been watching the whale alerts on Twitter, and we have been seeing some massive accumulation and moving to cold storage of thousands of Bitcoin. It's pretty significant. And as we do see here, Citi, BNY Mellon, and Wells Fargo invest in crypto tech companies. So, or I should say company, which is pretty significant. This goes back to May 10th, just 3 days ago. And we've been seeing a lot of announcements around banks adopting crypto, we're looking at some crypto use cases, all while everyone is still panicking. It makes no sense. But also, let's talk about this Avery Dennison use case with Hedera. So we just here, we're excited to announce that Atma.io connected product cloud will utilize the Hedera network to account for carbon emissions of billions of unique items. This is significant because Avery Dennison is a massive giant within a lot of the supply chain, including home and personal care, apparel, e-commerce, logistics, food and grocery, pharmaceuticals, and automotive. They're in 50 plus countries, they have 100 plus operations, and they are in 6 continents. The best part about this is that they are focused on sustainability, which is key, like I said, around Hedera. Hedera's sustainability is going to be the biggest selling point for them, I believe. That combined with the low cost fees and of course the scalability factors, I think that Hedera is a perfect enterprise grade, project. It's going to take some time for this to be adopted in and a lot of these use cases to go live. That's why I've always said this is not just your typical, hype with no substance project in crypto that does get pushed to the retail individuals. We've seen projects like that get pushed to the public and then crash and burn. And I'm not going to bring up any names, but we've just seen that recently as well. And it does suck to say, but a lot of individuals do get hurt from that. That's why I always don't play into the accountability of, hey, look at this project. They're hyping it up. It's, doing massive numbers, in such a short amount of time. We should all just jump in right now and ride the wave. No, I'm not going to talk about things like that because a lot of it is just hyped up with no substance. That's why I do appreciate Hedera because they have been updating us on, again, a ton of use case values. And also they are focused on a clear path here. And that clear path is sustainability and decarbonization on a lot of their use cases. We do see here Avery Dennison's Atma.io connect a product cloud to utilize the Hedera network to account for carbon emissions of billions of unique items. This is going to be billions of transactions on the Hedera ecosystem. This is incredible. And they are also going to be utilizing this for, use cases while driving the adoption of digital ID technologies across a variety of industries. They're also going to be focusing on tokenization. And also, by the way, when we look at this, we do see currently over 22 billion items are managed by the Atma.io platform across the apparel, retail, food, and healthcare segments. 6 of the top 20 apparel brands globally by revenue, and 4 of the top 10 quick service restaurants use the platform. This is pretty significant. Now, of course, when we look at this is all focused on emissions and enabling carbon reductions with the Atma.io connected product cloud. So again, this is really focused on leveraging the HTS and HCS services, all while, of course, giving you guys, or I shouldn't say giving you guys, but giving this company, that open source tokenization service that is going to create and discover ESGs, and that's going to be a very easy product to leverage from something like Atma.io, which is going to be focused on the supply chain. So this is great. And we do see down here, in the year since our launch of Atma.io, we've seen strong adoption by brands across numerous industries, and they definitely have. We're going to be talking about that, from apparel to food, beauty, retail, pharmaceuticals, and more. They all need end-to-end supply chain traceability, carbon accounting, and carbon reduction capabilities to allow them to deliver on their net zero carbon goals and give their consumers the product transparency they demand. We do see down here, we're excited to start pushing billions of item level data transactions through the Hedera network. Love to see it. To deepen the connection between physical and digital worlds and enable our customers to continue leading in sustainability and traceability. And this is awesome. You guys could read more about this if you guys want. I'm not going to read the entire thing down here, but it is focused on, of course, net zero emissions, carbon emissions. It's focused on traceability, sustainability. This is everything that Hedera has strived to be. And I love to see it. And we do see down here, carbon emission tokens and carbon reduction tokens will be available for Atma.io customers beginning June 2022. Sorry. So in 1 month, this starts. So I'm very excited for this. And honestly, something like this is exactly why I say focus on the bigger picture. Like even on this tweet here, I actually quoted this and I said billions of unique items. Yeah, Hbar is sitting around 10 cents while announcements like this are coming out. Easiest long-term play in this space. And here we have Atma.io, 300 new items added per second connected to Atma.io. So this would essentially almost be 300 transactions per second, if you will, which I know might not seem like a lot, but this is just one use case. Billions of transactions from just one use case. 22 billion plus physical items managed on Atma.io. 6 of the top 20 apparel brands use Atma.io, and 4 of the top 10 quick service restaurants use it as well. We do see down here item level traceability, sustainability, and circularity, consumer engagement as well. You guys can read all more about this. I've actually did a breakdown of this, I'm pretty sure, in the past, but you guys do see some of their connected possibilities, and we do see Hedera right there. You see some other ones like MasterCard. And also even over here, you guys do see like Microsoft. Suku's on here as well. I love Suku, by the way. If you guys haven't checked out Suku yet, I definitely advise you to. But we do see here, a partner to every industry. You guys do see all the industries. They are a supply chain giant. Now you could read all about them. I'm pretty sure they have their partnerships on this specific page here. They have a lot of Fortune 500 companies labeled on here, but they have so many. I mean, between just the few that you see, like MasterCard and Microsoft, like those are two massive giants. Some of these other names here you might know as well, but I'm very excited for this. I think that projects, or I shouldn't say projects, but use cases like this on a project like Hedera should make you extremely bullish if you are invested, because this is something that not a lot of people are actually paying attention to right now in this market. Like, we're still in a very speculative market where, people are just speculating on what does drive value, and they don't know what actually does drive value. But you can kind of compare and contrast like traditional stocks and what really drives their value, and kind of compare to what we have in this market. And something like this is huge, because we do see here flexible and agile. Atma.io is built on the shoulders of giants, benefiting from Avery Dennison's Fortune 500 global footprint, pioneering research and development, expertise, and reliability. And this is just one. I've talked to you guys even about when we go over to the GC member, right? I've talked to you guys about ServiceNow. ServiceNow is a huge Fortune 500 connected giant as well. You got to see where Hedera's really positioned themselves, because I've always said, like, yeah, sure, price action may be rough in the short term, but like long term, we're going to look back on this price action and just like kind of laugh at it. And Hedera definitely hasn't been the best performer. I'm not going to, sit here and say, hey, Hbar has been an incredible performer all of 2021 and 2022. No, absolutely not. I would say that it's been a disappointment in terms of price action, but I'm not going to, let that shake me out when I do see the clear vision being built here. But also, I do want to talk to you guys about a few other things. So let's talk about Quant. So with Quant, we do see here, is the case for using CBDCs to make cross-border payments cheaper, faster, easier now settled? Join the Future of Finance webinar on the 18th of May at 2 p.m. London time to hear Gilbert Verdian's perspectives. I've actually just quoted this the other day, actually yesterday, I believe, and I was talking to guys about, we are looking at a $156 trillion market here. Cross-border payments is something to not disregard at all. And I've always kind of compared and contrast to what could actually happen around crypto. I always look at Quant as being the positioning player behind something like the cross-border payment scene, because we're going to be seeing like assets like XRP, right? XRP also, dipped down to some pretty significant levels, but XRP is a massive giant in the cross-border payment scene, because XRP essentially will be the bridge asset for cross-border payments, where it does rely on, these banks to utilize XRP as the bridge token on the Ripple network to essentially lower the cost of cross-border payments and, also unlock a ton of other, massive efficiencies. When we look at something like that, we will still need something in between that bridge to allow for interoperability. And Quant's Overledger would essentially be that choice. But also, I do suspect that Quant is also doing some pretty big things within a lot of these areas. I always kind of look at tokenization as well, like even CBDCs, like tokenizing money. We do have DLTs, like the XRP ledger, even Hedera, right? A lot of these DLTs have a private ledger basis on their networks that could allow for central banks to actually come onto the ledger, right? Have a private ledger built out for them, essentially, which is already there, it's already built, and they could issue CBDCs on that private ledger and have full control over that, still keeping, the entire network itself decentralized, but having that centralized entity have its own space on that network. I look forward to that. And in fact, I actually welcome that in terms of a wholesale CBDCs, and I actually discussed this even in my XRP video. I don't support retail CBDCs simply because of the privacy factor. But I definitely think that Quant is going to play a vital role here. And also even XDC. XDC is doing incredible things. By the way, just in the last week, from the 7th to the 13th, which was today, we've seen XDC So let's actually open this in a new tab so that we could really kind of see this. We do see XDC-powered Layer 2 brings weather data to the blockchain. With Layer 2 technology built on the XDC network, distributed radar and satellite systems can leverage weather forecast nodes to transact climate data on the blockchain in real time. Then also we did see more, of course, with the trade finance area, Trade Tech, the promise of Panama. XDC Foundation published a Medium post about the adoption of blockchain in Panama and how it can bring economic stability, trade tech opportunities, and financial inclusion to unbanked citizens. Then we also do see the XDC Foundation headed to Panama. It's headed to Panama City, attending the Bloomberg New Economy Gateway Latin America event. Global and regional leaders will be in attendance, with our team joining discussions around blockchain solutions for the regional economy. XDC is also an incredible giant. And all of these tokens, a lot of these ISO 222 tokens have done massive drops in price. Like XRP is sitting at 43 cents. XDC came down to test like the cents range. I think that we're at like 4.5 cents. We came down to test 4 cents exact, which is insane to me. A lot of these tokens are so undervalued and overlooked. XDC could come down lower. A lot of these tokens could 100% come down lower. In fact, I do suspect that, XDC will most likely test the 3 cent range, but for me, I'm looking at the long-term view on some of these assets, and it's just insane to me how undervalued and overlooked some of these assets are, specifically even Hedera. So, right now, I think that we do have an incredible opportunity in this market. If the bottom is in, which I'm not saying it is, because honestly, I'm not going to take the risk on calling the bottom, because nobody will call the bottom at all. And if you do, it's extremely lucky to do so. I always said, I will most likely be wrong if I called a top or a bottom in this market, because it's so, the chances of doing so, it's slim to none. So, to me, I just look at the long term, the macro view, and I look at some of these assets and what they are building and what they are doing, and I just average in. Do I have a tight stop loss in place? If I do average in 100% in case we do go a lot lower, because like I said, if we are in that 4-year cycle, we've already seen our November top. We're in a bear market. Bitcoin's most likely going lower, sitting around like roughly like the $13,000 to like $18,000 range, with possibilities of going to like $10,800. It's a possibility, but hey, to me, a lot of these prices are prices that we haven't seen in a very long time. Bitcoin is still holding the macro trend line. As long as we continue to close above like 27.7K, if we lose that, then yeah, something is, it's probably going down to some significant lows. But for the most part, I'm looking at some trend lines. I'm looking at the macro views on Bitcoin, and things still look pretty good from my perspective. I will definitely update you guys along the way if I do see something completely different. I'm not going to be buying over the weekend. Of course, I said this in my video from earlier, but with that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.